Hello, my name is Peter Vell. I've been a professional cellist and gamba player in London for many years. I also have a bit of a science background and have been known to tune historical keyboards like the one behind me. I'd like to share my thoughts and experience, which will, I hope, help you to understand how to tune a cello properly. Firstly, let's say that the mechanics of tuning are okay, such as the pegs and fine tuners. I'll not talk about that, perhaps the subject of another video. Some boring bits on acoustics. Perhaps you'd like to pause and get a pencil and paper. Two numbers you should know. The vibrations of notes an octave apart are 1 to 2. If a note has a frequency of, let's say, 100, its octave above would be 200 and the octave below 50. A fifth above is 1 to 1.5, so the fifth above this 100 note is 150. Pythagoras, yes, he of the theorem, worked this out, and his name will be mentioned later. Now, look up harmonic series online at Wikipedia to give you the harmonic series from C. Print this off. Online articles can be very complicated, but it's just the harmonics on your cello. All pure or Pythagorean intervals are simple ratios. Now for some serious stuff. Let's start with the C string on the cello. According to the series, a note and its fifth is 1 to 1.5. We will say that the frequency of this C is 100. It's actually less, but let's not bother. G, which is a perfect fifth, will be 150. That is 100 times 1.5. Similarly, the D is 150 times 1.5 or 225. We can carry on like this to find the frequency of A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp and B sharp. If you want to work it out yourself, half the number when it gets too big to bring it down an octave. Now we've arrived at B sharp, which is of course on a keyboard C, but the maths gives this as 101.364326, etc., which is considerably sharp, about a quarter tone. This is called Pythagoras' comma. Here he is again, and the sequence is called the circle of fifths. This is a problem for keyboards, and to get the starting C and the last B sharp pure, you have to compromise the fifths. There are many ways of doing this. Here is a book showing some of the solutions. Modern tuning does it by narrowing all fifths slightly. I repeat, slightly. This is called equal temperament, and each fifth is an equal tempered fifth. This means you can play in any key, but all are slightly out of tune. If you tune your cello in pure or Pythagorean fifths, the C string will be flat. You can tune exactly with an electronic equal tempered tuner or every note on a well-tuned piano, but this is not practical in a concert situation. In string chamber rehearsals, an electronic tuner can be a big help, but not on the concert platform, please. I have worked in a distinguished viol consort for most of my working life, and in the early stages, trying to tune over 30 different strings took a lot of time until I got an electronic tuner. After a time, we got attuned to it and didn't need it. Practice tuning pure fifths on your cello. It's probably something you're not used to. When pure, the sound is still and even as the notes are reinforcing each other perfectly. This is not simple, as we're brought up on tempered fifths on the piano and cello tone is complex. I'll try and demonstrate it, but it may not come off with my inadequate recording equipment. I'll play the A and the D. Now that is a bit dirty, so I'll wind the D up. More. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that is a pure fifth. If I were to tune in pure fifths down to the C, which I won't do now because it'll take too long, the C would be noticeably flat, about a quarter tone. Try the first few bars of Bach's Third Suite for cello, or compare a well-tuned C on the A string to show this. I'll just wind it up a little bit to try to get what I think is a tempered fifth. As far as I can hear, that is a tempered fifth. Piano tuners do this by listening to the beats of a tempered fifth. It's only 1 or 2 a second and is very difficult to hear on a cello's complex tone. Not many cellists know of the problem, so how do they cope? Some just tune the C string up a little so it is in tune. In most music, you do not play open A, D or G for any length of time, so it's not very noticeable. Others just learn it through experience without quite knowing how it works. There are many great cellists and they don't play out of tune. I explained this to my students and it helps them, especially in the beginning stages. I emphasize that the fifths must not be in any degree wide and only slightly narrow. Do not tune using harmonics. It gives Pythagorean fifths and the string may anyway be false. You sometimes see cellists using harmonics, but usually just to check that the string hasn't slipped. One aspect that you should note is Baroque cello. You often play extended open strings, and what I do is to tune each string to the corresponding note on the keyboard. It looks a bit babyish, but is best to tune to the keyboard temperament, that is, its system of tuning. I play gamba and I tune all 7 strings to the keyboard, even on the concert platform. This video has been a bit long and involved, but please get out of it what you wish. Most of the videos about tuning a cello are a bit sketchy and don't address the real problem. All this is a bit complicated, but if one knows that there is a problem, you can cope with it. These thoughts can of course apply to the violin and the viola, but not to the double bass or viol. That would be for an even longer video. I'm willing to answer any questions if I can, and I can send you a transcript of this video if you wish. Thank you.